Hi guys, Fred Wellman with the MeidasTouch Network, host of On Amongst with FP Wellman. I told you we'd keep you up to date on the latest lunacy with Tommy Tuberville and his ridiculous and ongoing hold on military senior promotions that is now stretched into over 6 months and is actually holding up promotion of the leaders of both the Marine Corps and the Army and an absolute ton of key positions. Let me give you an example. Right now, the U.S. Navy is talking about possibly arming or escorting ships in the Persian Gulf, and the commander of that fleet, the one who should be making these decisions, has not been Senate confirmed because of Tommy Tuberville. So we literally have a national security crisis that is ongoing with only an acting commander, all because one senator doesn't like a travel policy. Here's a great update on where things stand and the growing frustration with Tuberville from the Hill.
Alabama Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville continues to wage his war against the Pentagon over its abortion policy. Now, President Joe Biden is firing back.
A growing cascade of damage and disruption, all because one senator from Alabama and 48 Republicans have refused to stand up to him.
Tuberville is using a Senate rule to block military promotions that require Senate approval. He says he objects to the Pentagon's policy of providing time off and travel expenses for service members and their dependents seeking legal abortions.
I do not want our military to turn into a woke political military.
The Pentagon says Tuberville's one-man blockade could impact 650 confirmations by the end of the year, with a ripple effect on thousands of troops and their families.
Military families already sacrificed so much, unsure of where or when they change stations, unable to get housing or start their kids in the new school.
I'm not going to change my mind.
Tuberville refuses to back down. Lawmakers have now left Washington until September. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says Tuberville's fellow Republicans need to end this.
Now, I think in August, pressure is going to mount on Tuberville, and I think the Republicans are feeling that heat.
Senate Republican leaders have criticized Tuberville's tactics, but have so far done nothing to stop him. In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
Yeah, he's not showing any kind of resolve to change whatsoever. They are on recess right now. Of course, Tuberville is using the recesses as an excuse to defend himself. And before I watch this next clip, let me explain the deal. The way this works, for those who understand, is that one senator can block what's called unanimous consent passage of a bill. Traditionally, and for years, military senior promotions, the senior officer, the way it works, is this general officer or flag officer in the Navy will go before the Senate Armed Services Committee. They will testify. If the committee passes them forward to the Senate, almost without any measure in past history, it's generally passed through unanimous consent. In other words, as long as the Senate Armed Services Committee agrees, you're fine. Unanimous consent. And that just means it's just simply the bill is read, no one objects, and it passes. Every now and then there's been ones that have stopped. Maybe a flag officer had been accused of something, for example, a crime. We've had some that were accused of sexual harassment. But it's very rare that military promotions are politicized until Tommy Tuberville. So he decides that he doesn't like the military travel policy, which applies to medical treatments, legal medical treatments for service members, allows them to have time off and pays for their travel only to go get legal medical care. In this case, be it perhaps in vitro fertilization or, an abortion, that the military will cover that travel. This has made him and the anti-abortion types crazy. So now he's holding all the promotions. And of course, the Senate can't do anything about it because the way it would work is each individual promotion would have to go to the floor of the Senate and be voted on in a regular order drill. That would take a full day of Senate time. They're not doing anything else but trying to pass these promotions because Tommy Tuberville is trying to make a big point. And of course now he's trying to spin that to say, oh, I'm not really causing any problems. If they could do this, but they just choose not to. They want to go on vacation. Here's him talking to Laura Ingraham, his buddy.
It's very extreme. Listen, I've got holds on these nominees, but they can push these nominees through one at a time. I've only got holds for groups of them at a time. I've got a hold on every one of them, but they can bring them one at a time to the floor. But Chuck Schumer doesn't want to work. I mean, we've been out of session 50 days before this month, and now we're all on vacation for a month. They don't want to. They've got the floor, but they don't want to do any work with it. They want to just push these through. I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, it's estimated that if you did each individual promotion, it would take 8 months and growing, because now we're well over 280 going on 300 promotions that are under hold. He's full of shit. He's always full of shit. You know, it's midsummer. We can see the end of vacation season coming. Back to school, back to business, back to work. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in what everyone else needs from you right now. And you never take a moment to think about what you need from yourself. I see this in my own life as I juggle my work and my family and the time and heck, even my garden, for goodness sake. Because so many of us spend so much of our time giving to others, it can leave us feeling stretched, thin, burned out, and frankly frazzled. Therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. I have personally found therapy is helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries and generally how to become the best version of myself. I want you to know that therapy isn't just for those who've experienced major life difficulties or challenges. It's for everyone. And because what you're going through every day, you know, it matters. If you're thinking of starting therapy, I'd love you to give BetterHelp a try. Now, it's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. I started my own therapy journey online, and I'm going to be honest, it changed my life. With BetterHelp, you just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. And you can actually switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. I want you to find more balance in your life, and I want you to find BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Fred today. You'll get 10% off your first month with BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Fred. And I really, really want to thank BetterHelp for being a sponsor of our show. But here's the thing. He's been saying all along that he's got support from the veterans. He produced a letter with 5,000 veterans' names on it. But our friends at Vote Vets, who don't pull punches, have been going after him pretty hard with several ads and testimonials from veterans. They're actually running this 30-second ad in Alabama right now.
All year, Senator Tuberville has been playing politics with our military, blocking hundreds of promotions, leaving holes up the chain of command. Senator, you wouldn't take Auburn to the Iron Bowl without your offensive and defensive coordinators on the field. So stop sacrificing our national security for your political games. You're hanging our military out to dry just like you did the players at Ole Miss. The military is not your political football. Just let our leaders lead.
And I love the way they actually go after him for his football record, too, when he left Ole Miss in the lurch. If you don't know about that story, look it up. But old Tommy didn't do any favors at Ole Miss. This is who he is. But the big story he's trying to spin is that he's got support. And media outlets have actually kind of given him some support there. NPR went down and did the diner circuit in Alabama. And oh, yeah, we love him. So Vote Vets, they decided to do something about that, too. And they just came out with a public policy poll talking about they actually did a poll, and they polled 577 voters in Alabama. And the numbers tell a very different story than what Tommy wants you to believe. For example, 58 to 29, these are registered voters. And by the way, the majority of them were Trump voters in the survey. 58 to 29 say Tuberville has made his point. And this includes 41 to 40 among Trump voters, people who voted for Trump. So even Trump voters have a plurality that disagree, that look, you did what you did, Tommy. You've made your point. Let these promotions go through because now you're hurting national security. Matter of fact, 55% say missions going unfilled, like we talked about, Marine Corps Commandant, Army Chief of Staff, 5th Fleet Commander, they are hurting national security. So 55% of voters in Alabama say this is hurting national security. And this is really the whopping number that really got my attention and should get yours. 72% to 14 say military promotions should not be politicized. See, that's what Tommy's done here. He's politicized what should be a non-political movement, a non-political thing. We can disagree on a lot of things, but supporting the military, normal procedures of promoting our senior officers shouldn't be one of them that's politicized. But Tommy's done that and has no plans to change. 45% now see him less favorably. See, this is what has been saving him. He keeps saying that polls and people tell him that they love what he's doing, but he's not. Only 26% say more favorably than they did. Now, look, that's not saying, and here's what I think is interesting, actually. In the survey, 54% actually oppose the Pentagon policy, and I'm fine with that. 54% to 36% oppose the policy allowing travel time and time off to go get abortions for our female service members who are stationed in states like Alabama where it's illegal. I disagree with that, but I think it's important to remember in this poll, 54% actually agree with the policy that he's opposing, but nonetheless, a majority by a large number say enough's enough and let these promotions go through. Will Tuberville get the message? I don't know. He seems to be thick-skulled as hell and doesn't listen. But maybe we can get the word to him. So folks, there's a phone number you can call. I'll put it up on screen. You know, give him a call. Let's talk to old Tommy. Let him know that this doesn't work for you as American citizens while our nation faces security crisis around the world. One single senator, a football coach. I mean, his staff still calls him coach. Old Coach Tuberville is dropping the ball for America. Let him know. I'm Fred Wellman, MeidasTouch Network. Catch new shows of On Democracy every Friday night at 11. Thanks.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.